Hello.
Hi, how are you?
Good. You want to hear something funny?
Yes, of course I do.
So I came home and it's dark and I see this. And I immediately thought it was a piece of shit because it was this way. I was like,
Uh-huh.
come in. I start yelling at the dog and it's my kid's toy.
That's pretty dang funny. Oh
Yeah.
my
It's
gosh.
like 1 a.m. I'm like, Dad, come in, dog shit. And
Nope, not that. At least it wasn't a Lego that you stepped on.
I did step on a Lego later and it's like one of those Lego likes. So it doesn't quite, it's like a fake Lego that you get out
Oh
of
yeah, yeah,
the
yeah,
toy.
yeah, yeah, yep.
So it's not quite right. And Chris
Mhm.
was getting mad because it wouldn't stick.
They won't. I know. I'm not ever buying those. We bought a little tiny thing at Target for my granddaughter one time, and I'm like, and my daughter was like, that doesn't fit, and I'm like, oh, throw those out. You know.
Yeah. So I'm about to go invest in some real Legos because the poor kid was like,
Have you ever gone to sometimes, well, a lot of times when my kids were little, the Goodwills had tons of them for
oh, that's right. Because that's where I would take mine.
well, yeah, because Christopher's too. I mean, he's not into the big sets yet, right?
No, no.
So the Goodwill was a really good choice for things like that, just to get the blocks so they could play with. And I mean, now my kids got, the cars and the spaceships and all that kind of stuff, but that's, whatever. And for that matter, my husband has the car and the spaceships and all that stuff.
Right.
Yeah. So other than that, how you guys doing?
More cards.
Wow. Holy moly, that's awesome. That's awesome. Is your intention to call after the cards? Like so many,
Yes.
are you tracking your cards so you know who
Yes.
okay, that's cool. That's very cool. I was just listening to somebody yesterday. We were doing a meeting yesterday, and they said that they would take pictures and then to separate out. So like this would be this day, they would take a picture of their shoes in between each section so they could track, okay, that goes with this, and then there's my shoes, and then that goes with this, and then there's my shoes. I'm like, so they could sort out, like they would take pictures of, for them, they were taking neighborhoods and they wanted to do some social media around those neighborhoods. So they
Mhm.
would do like 3 or 4 pictures of the neighborhood and then their shoes. And
Oh.
that was their, okay, that only goes with this group. And then this only goes with this.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And I'm like, and then in between, they would email them to themselves with the shoes in between, like that's the mark right there. I'm like,
Oh, in their picture roll.
yeah, in their picture roll, because otherwise you have 80 million pictures,
Right.
which my husband does that also. Well, he doesn't do his shoes, but he has 80 million pictures. I don't know how he keeps those straight because
I think you can tag them.
you probably can. How do you?
Someone told me you can. I haven't done it. The other thing is I save them into my notes.
Oh, that's very good.
So do a note and then you
Right,
can say take picture from file
right.
and then take picture from or take a picture in it and you can tag it that way. I think there's a way you can tag it in the photo, but that's another way you can group them.
That's actually a really good idea because I live on notes.
And if you tag it, you can do a search on the tag.
Mm-hmm. And I'm not joking. I live on notes, everything from the grocery store to, gosh, my diary, which is not a diary, my I forget what the heck I call it because my brain is, what is my,
Journal.
right? Basically, yes, homework for life. That's what I call it.
That's
That thing, um, prayer, everything is in story ideas are all kept together. All my ahas from my classes, I dump them all into one note called ahas, which is interesting to go back every so often and just go read through all your ahas of, oh yeah, that one was really good.
Oh,
Yeah,
I like it.
yeah, instead of having, how many of us have books and notebooks and we have the smartest bookshelf in the room, right?
Right.
There's a billion courses we've taken back there,
Yes.
piles. I have them in those boxes. I have, a lot of those are filled with, workbooks and such, and they're brilliant,
Right.
but we don't go back and go look at them. We just don't. And we're going to, and we don't. So instead, when I'm listening to a speaker, whatever, I put the speaker's name and then
Right.
and it stays in one big long note like that.
And so you can search it by speaker or by aha.
Yeah, I can. Well, for me, I'll just start reading through my ahas and I'll get to a really good one. I'm like, who said that? Oh, it was this person. Oh, that's really good. And the thing with that, that made it great when I first joined with KW and now with EXP, it's the same thing. Conventions, you can take all these different classes. And if you know who the really good speakers are, then like there are some speakers, I don't care what they're talking on. I am going to go hear them speak. Like it doesn't even matter what they're talking on. They're that good. And then other people, even though the subject's good, you walk in and in 5 minutes, you're like, it's not doing it for me. I would leave. I always have a class and a backup. And I would go, because this one matches up with what I'm doing, the direction I'm building my business. But in 5 minutes, if they're not good, I slip out of the room and I go over to
Go to
backup.
your backup.
Yeah. And even if I only catch the last 15 minutes of it, from walking and all that to get there, it is still worth it to, get out and get to the other one. All right, I'm shifting gears. Let's talk. So thank you for that. By the way, that got me kind of going and thinking. So today I wanted to talk about Traction, which is by Gino, Gino, Gino Wickman, who is Floyd Wickman's kid. So Floyd Wickman was Sweat Hogs, and then he renamed it something else. Maybe he got in trouble with Welcome Back Coffee, I'm not sure, but he renamed it. I can't remember what he renamed it, but anyway, it was at the time he built it, it was one of the first real estate training programs ever, and it was the world's most successful real estate program. Like he was huge, and this is pre-Buffini, pre-Tracy, pre-Ferry, all those people. There was Sweat Hogs and Gene Wickman's program. So this is his kid, and his kid has written a Rocket Fuel and Traction. Rocket Fuel is the sequel to Traction. Traction is about being an entrepreneur and getting your entrepreneurial organization right. That's what Traction's about. And then Rocket Fuel is like the action, the implementation of the things that the concepts from Traction. But here's the concept that I wanted to kind of go through. There's a way that he handles meetings, either with his staff or when the organization is small, with himself. And every week he has these check-ins. And so if you're a solopreneur, it's a check-in. Obviously, if you've got a company or an organization, it's a meeting. The meeting always starts on time. It always ends on time. And the meeting covers your basic 3 things. But before that, he has a couple of exercises that he does, which I thought were really interesting. So, and I'm just going to go through kind of concepts and then let's just talk about it. So the first thing always starts with vision, which we already know. It always starts with vision. So Gary has one way of doing his, I wish Craig was here. Gary has one way of doing his visioning, which is getting into peace and quiet for a few hours, and opening up, sort of meditating and opening up, and then finding out kind of what flows with you with living your best life. And then from there, writing it down and then kind of honing that down. I have a different way of doing vision, which is spending 10 minutes on what do I want my future life to look like, and then doing it again, but breaking it down into those different avenues of your life. There's no right or wrong. It's just whatever way works for you to kind of hone down your vision. So it starts with visioning, and then it goes into, from there, core values. So you start with your vision, and then you break down into your core values. And his way of doing core values, I really liked. So my way of doing core values is going back to 3 different ages, as a child, as a teenager, and as a young adult. And then through each one of those ages, you look at what are 3 or 4 activities that I loved, and then what was it I loved about them and how they make me feel. So for instance, maybe I loved riding my bike, and I loved riding my bike because I could get away and I could go explore all over the place and see all kinds of interesting things. And I felt free. I felt completely free. And you do that through all those different avenues of your life. And you just start looking for, okay, what are the core themes that are popping up? His way, and there, again, there's no right or wrong. I like both of them, actually. His way, and that way is taken from Barbara Sher, SHER. I think the book is Live the Life You Love. I think, or I could do anything I wanted to if I just knew what it was. It's one of those 2. His way is to take the people that you admire in your life, that like, who do you really admire? It could be a fictional actor in a role, perhaps a person in your life that you actually know, family member, historical figure. It could be anything. It doesn't matter. Just who do you really, really, really admire? You write down 2 or 3 names of who you admire, and then what is it that you admire about them? And if you have an organization, you have everybody in the organization do it, as far as who would they, and the question there is, who would I want to be in business with? So that hones it down to, from your core values to your business core values. If I could be in business with anybody, who would it be? Who do I believe that if I was in business with would absolutely, we would be the most amazing partnership ever? So that one really got me kind of going, and I haven't spent the question, although I haven't kind of pondered through yet who that person would be. But if you guys had to think about anybody, I kind of want to throw this one out because I love this one so much. And then we'll dig into what the meetings look like too. But this one to kind of find core values. Who would you be in business with? And why would you be in business with that person?
Okay, so I'd be in business with Gina.
Look at this thing.
That's pretty funny. And okay, and why?
Because your integrity, your commitment, and your knowledge.
So those are core values for you.
Yes,
Integrity, commitment, knowledge.
right.
So that's what you make sure that if those are your core values, that's what the core in running your business. And that's what you, and kind of keep on processing through with a few different people until you get a list of 15, 20 things. So maybe
Core values.
Of core values, and then hone it down together until you just have a few, because stuff will group in together and it will hone it down, and less is more. 3 is great. If you end up with 3 is great. You don't want a list of 5 or 10. You want core values. So I purposely went into business with Gary because Gary is brilliant.
Right.
He's completely altruistic, and I knew he always would be, and I could completely trust him. He's like 1,000% trustworthy. And because of the altruism is really important to me, really, really an important value to me. And then the trustworthy thing. And I didn't want to ever go into, I've had so many business partners that have not been trustworthy, and I didn't realize it until down the road. And also he's active. We had business partners, and at the time it was a good fit, but then it became not a good fit, where they were very altruistic. They were absolutely brilliant, good men, good women, but not active, very, very, very passive. And so after a while, which suits me in the beginning, just let me run with it, right? But after a while, I don't want that. I want a partner, and a partner needs to be active also. So there's a component in there that I hadn't realized until, 5 years ago, maybe, that's maybe 6, 7, what doesn't matter, but that I needed that also. So think of your people that you would want to be in business with, think of those attributes, and then that gets you your core values, and then hone that down to just a few core values. And then that is what drives your business, and you keep that at the forefront of, this is why we're doing this thing, and this is what our marketing looks like, because this is who we are. We are this. We're not all over the map. We are about altruism, action, and trustworthiness. Maybe might end up being 3 of mine.
I think this would be good for Craig. So I think he may have felt overwhelmed with Gary's, spend hours. He just, so I hope, Gary, Craig, I hope you watch this on repeat.
Craig, we love you. I hope
we
you
love
do.
You, Craig.
Yep. Oh, this is going to be a fun one. I'm going to send this over to him going, you need to watch this. Hang on. I'm going to get another sticky up here because Ava's with cleaning up, no electricity after a typhoon, and I'm like winging crap on my own today. Craig, watch today. Okay, okay, Craig, this is for you. This is Craig Watch today. Okay, all right. And Gina's remind. Okay, so what
Does he know how to watch?
he's gonna get sent to him because
Oh, okay.
that's why I have to do this so that I will actually send it to him. I don't think she's got electricity yet. Anyway, she's safe, the cat's safe, no electricity yet. Okay, so once you have your vision and your core, and then you know that about your entrepreneurship and you know that defines where you're going to go and all that kind of stuff. Then it comes down to your meetings every week that you have with yourself, and your meetings every week, because now you know where you're going, you know what that looks like. So, and that vision is a 5-year, 3-year, 1-year kind of a thing. It could be a 10-year, 3-year, and a 1-year kind of thing. But when you really know, okay, in 1 year, this is what direction I'm going on this, then you divide that into fourths, like Gary does also. So you divide it into your quarters. Once you have that, so maybe it's in real estate land. It's in the next 3 months, I am going to have 12 closed deals. That's 4 a month. Yeah, that's perfect. 12 closed deals. So that's my, so that's my goal. So 12 closed deals. So my rocks, my big rocks, if I'm going to have 12 closed deals, is okay, well, let's toss this out to you. If you guys were going to have 12 closed deals and that's your quarter goal, what would your big rocks be that you have got to hit these big rocks in order to make sure that I have that? And it can be anything, but
Lead gen every day.
Yeah,
Lead
and then
gen.
and then hit myself. Lead gen and hit myself.
And hit yourself. Okay.
Well, you said the big rocks. I'm one of the rocks.
Okay. All right.
Ah,
All right.
But lead gen is definitely right up there.
Okay. In the book, he says, if you're going to grow, you have to grow personally. Like
Mhm.
usually that's first. And he's like, stop and take the time to work on whatever that thing is that's because you're going to hit ceilings. Face it, you're going to hit a ceiling. Everybody hits a ceiling. I distinctly remember my ceilings, and I'm bucking up against a ceiling right now, or closed doors or whatever the hell it is. It's making me about crazy. Just talking to my accountability buddy this morning, like, stupid ceiling. Anyway, you're going to hit it. So you got to work on yourself or whatever that ceiling is, but usually it's you, and then move forward with it. For me personally, a big rocks might be with my 12. That might be, let me see, the things that are my big things that have to get accomplished for my 12. I might have to have a sign company picked out to be able to hit my signs, and have that put down together. I might need to get more key boxes. I might need to lead gen, but I might need to, because I've done the math with my lead generation and it doesn't look like there's going to be enough hours. So I might need to work with the referral business a whole lot better. So maybe I need to put into place that system where I talk to every single person and get their 2 names. And I really work that out as well, because that looks like a really good big rock for me to get there. You guys see what I'm saying? It could be all over the map. Okay. So you define what your big rocks are. Once you know what your big rocks are, and if you're a solo entrepreneur, those are your rocks. So maybe I have 3 rocks, and maybe for me personally, my 3 rocks are, I need the sign company with the picked out. I know the price, I know what this is going to cost, and I know I need to hit that rock as soon as I only have 4 signs. So I know as soon as I have 4 listings out there, I need to go the sign company. Once I hit my 3rd one, I need to contact the sign company, and that's something that needs to get done. And then I've got my key boxes, and I need to lead gen, and that my lead gen is 3 hours a day, 2 hours a day. Let's say it's 2 hours a day, 2 hours a day. And then I need to ask for 2 referrals. I need to get that in place with every single person. Those are my big rocks every single week. That's what's going to happen. Okay. So those are my big rocks. Then my next thing I need to know are my numbers. So, all right, what are my numbers that are my metrics that I measure my business by? So in this scenario, what would the metrics be that you would be tracking every single week to make sure that you're on pace to get your 12 units this quarter? What numbers would you guys be looking at?
Well, whether or not you got those referrals, whether you made those calls.
Numbers, call numbers. Okay, what else?
So the referral numbers are call numbers.
Okay,
That's kind of like going backwards up.
that's
is-
exactly right. You're doing exactly right. You're working your way backwards. You're doing, intuitively, you're doing exactly what you should be doing. So,
Reverse engineering.
yep, you're reverse engineering it. So what other numbers might you track if you're going to look at the numbers that are going to move the metrics forward for these 12 closed deals this month? What else you tracking?
Would you look at the listings? How many listings you have?
Would you? It's your business.
Well, to me, probably not, but only because if I didn't do the first two that I mentioned, then the other one wouldn't be there.
Okay, so you wouldn't, anybody else look at their listings and track that number too?
But you should probably.
Well, it's your business. You can
I
look.
know, I'm just saying you probably should, but
Okay, so,
I would look at the quality of the listings and see the probability of them selling, making sure that when I took the listing, that I wasn't just taking a listing for a number, but I was taking it for the result.
so you then, for that one, would you track your days on market? Is that the number you would track on your listings? Because that's gonna, I mean, obviously if your days on market are too high, then the price needs to come down and that's what's gonna move it.
Yep, showings,
Okay, so you want days on market or showings? You're gonna track.
showings and actually I like to judge the comments and the feedback from the agents and why they didn't buy.
Okay.
And report that back.
Okay, so sit down in comments, because comments is not a number, so comments would go over underneath the next one, so hold tight to that idea. Because that's gonna come into the next one, but days on market and showings, those are both numbers you can't.
Yeah, days on the market. If it doesn't sell the first 7, 8 days. And I have activity on it. Why don't I have activity on it?
Okay,
What's wrong with my advertising?
okay, perfect, so that's gonna go into the next one, so we got days on market showings. Is there anybody else that's gonna track anything else? Sit tight, because you're ahead of me, Dutch. You stay, you hold that, because that's gonna come up in just 1 second. But the data-
So things that we're tracking,
Yep, your numbers you're tracking.
so I'm getting back into tracking the number of calls, the number of dials,
Okay,
number of answers. And then number of appointments set,
appointment set, okay,
appointment set. Listings taken,
yep,
buyer consult set. Did I say that one already? And
Nope.
how many agreements, listing agreements and buyer's reps I get.
buyer reps, perfect, okay, got it.
And then I also track the number of contracts written,
Yep,
and then how many pended and closed, and how many did not, how many fell through,
and
so that
then-
I can get an accurate number of my percentages.
perfect. So, okay, perfect. All right, does anybody else have any other numbers that they're tracking? Or that they would track if they're gonna do this goal and that these are their numbers that they're looking at?
For me, I just look at the end ones. I look at the number of listing contracts and the number of buyer contracts. If it's anything less than that, that's a fail for me.
No, it's cool. You can have whatever numbers you want to. I mean, it's totally your business. And then, cool, I like that. And then, so you're like, those two, that's it, just bottom line, those two.
Mhm,
Then,
mhm.
anyone else have anything? They want to just, I got days on market, showings, proposal. Liz, can you talk? Liz is moving. Liz may just have us stuck in her ear and I get it. All right. Okay. So I like all these. I think for me, I would track my closed. I would definitely be tracking my closed. I would have because I want to know, like, if I want to hit 12, I want to know, and I'm going to track it in reverse. So I'm not going to track that I have 4 already done or 3 already done. I'm going to track that I need 6. I need 4, I need 2, I need 1. I'm going to track it in reverse order. And I'm definitely going to track that one. And then the other thing I'm going to track is my appointment set. I'm going to track that one. My appointment set, and I'm going to track, okay, I'm going to track my listings taken, because I know that my close tells me if I'm hitting my what I need left is going to tell me, yeah, you're on track, or no, you're not on track. And that encourages me. I like that countdown way of doing it. And then I know if I take the listings and I know that, because what Dutch said about the they need to sell. So I know that if I'm super proactive on pricing, which we tracked, like Dutch, like you said, what I tracked was days on month. And we just went to we went to the oldest one, and we're like, you're done, basically, like, you're reducing the price, adjusting the price of your property, because we need to move you forward. And we adjusted on day 15 is when we started adjusting price. So whatever, we go 2 weeks and then bam, that's it, we're done, we're adjusting. So I'm going to track appointments, listings taken, and I'm going to track that reverse order of my sold ones. So again, there's no right or wrong, just something that's simple and easy metrics every week to go, am I on track to hit my thing? So you got the rocks, you got the numbers that you're tracking, and then the last business. So your business meeting with yourself is your big rocks. So my big rocks are, I said I had to have X amount of lead gen done, and I had to have my 2 referrals asked for with every single client. I had to get those 2 things done. I need to make sure I've got my signs in my key boxes. Those are my big rocks. And then it's my numbers. My numbers were boom, 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 boom. Did you hit them or do your rocks? That's the next question. And that goes underneath issues. And so as soon as you hit a number or a rock you didn't hit, all right, so I didn't ask for referrals, would be mine. So my rock is I was supposed to ask for 2 referrals from every person, and I didn't. All right, it immediately slides down to the issues pile. So every meeting is your rocks, your numbers, and then issues. And as soon as you go, did I hit my rock? No, bam, it goes down to issue, and you stay there until you have that solved. And that is the part of this whole thing that I went, crap, that's really good. So does that make sense on that part?
Mhm.
That's okay. So all right. So I didn't get my 2 referrals. What happened? And I'm good. Yay. What happened and where did it happen? And what do I need to change immediately? Okay, perfect. It just went from issue to spending time on it, and you stay with it until you have your resolution. And then that's your resolution. And then you go down to the next one. Do I have my sign company picked out with my signs? Hang on, I need to go talk to the broker and find out legally what I have to have on a sign, because I heard state law change, blah, blah, blah. So I need to get that done. Stop. Issue. All right, what are you going to do? Go into the broker room today. My next thing I said was I got to get key boxes. That's good. I got no problem with that one. Everything's all set up. I know how that works with the MLS. And I did my 2 hours of lead gen. We're good. Okay, and then I'm going to move to my numbers. I said that I had to have 12. I only have 3 this month. Crap. Stop. Okay, because it moves right down to issues again. What do I need to do to get that? Because now I need to make up one, and I need to figure out where that is and how I'm going to do that. So, all right, now that we have this concept in, what do you guys see or feedback or hate or like, or none of it, or I don't care anything, but discussion time. Morning, Kay.
What was the question?
It's, I'm sorry. I said discussion time, but Dutch, I wanted to go back to you 1 second. I'm sorry. When you said you wanted to look at the comments, and I was like, hang on, because it's not really a number, because in the number section, as you were going through your issues, if you have your listings and you're not hitting your rock or you're not hitting your number, comments would be one of the things that, because it drops down to issues, and then you if I'm getting it right, would immediately go to, hang on, I got to analyze this. I got to look at my days on month. I got to look at my showings. I got to look at my comments. And then I got to figure out what I need to do in order to fix it. Does that make sense where that comments would come in at that section?
Oh, yeah.
Cool.
Makes sense to me, I mean, that's just what I do.
Exactly. You do it instinctually. Yeah. So,
It's
Wait,
all like a tree that's
I've been
hanging
doing
by
it.
its roots.
yes. Yeah, exactly. So, Kathy, tell Amanda that's exactly what we're going to talk about. And tell her to not do a business card. And also, because she's texting me and I'm on this call, tell her that I'm on a Zoom. She doesn't need to prepare anything. Do not do a business card. And we're going to go over that.
Okay.
Thank you, sweetie. And let her know that's from me and I said hi. Okay, perfect. Okay, so anyway, Kate, what we're talking about is basically having meetings with yourself every week where you go through your big rocks of what you need for your goal. Then you go through your numbers and you can track any numbers you want to. And then you have a little meeting with yourself, and whatever you didn't hit, it falls down into issues. And I highly encourage you to go back and watch the beginning of this, because it's, yeah, I think you'll like it with the way you are business CEO structure. Kay, I think you're going to like it. Okay, and it's from Gino Wickman's book, Traction. So anyway, I'm watching my neighbor who lets her dog pee in my yard every day. And I'm like, and my grass looks like hell in that one spot. I'm like, and if I wasn't on this, I think I would go outside and say hi, so she would realize, can you take your dog right next door to your yard? Just right 10 feet down the road. So I don't have a patch of whatever there.
Brown
All right.
spot.
Yes. Okay, I'm done glaring at the neighbor. Okay, so any feedback or thoughts or anything around this?
Just got to do it.
And if so, I think I need for me personally, I think I need some more clarity, especially after my accountability call this morning on my vision. I think for me, I need more clarity around my vision, because that will drive more of the doing it. And I really felt the past couple of days, my ads aren't working well. Everybody else's ads are working really well. I feel like I'm hitting against a brick wall. I've got a bunch of people in the pipeline, but nobody's moving yet. I'm just like frustrated as hell. And I think I need to go through and get clarification on my vision, because that will drive more of a push on what it is that I'm doing, which I feel like I need to take down my Craigslist ads, all of them, and then redo one and just get one up in one city and see how that hits. That's what I think. I think that's my big rock that I need to do. And then my other ones is I need to have clarity around how many people I want to be bringing in every month, because I don't. I'm just like, well, you just hit you just hit it and it'll happen. You won't worry about it. But since it's not, and this is the worst set of months to bring people over, and this again is just my business, then I need to have clarity around it. So I know, okay, hang on, you said 12 and you're at 2. You need to, you've got 10 more to go. And I think that will kind of fuel more aggressive activity for me personally. That's what I think.
I have trouble setting up the numbers to measure everything that I'm doing, probably because I'm still doing too many things and I need to center down onto one.
That's what my accountability buddy told me this morning. He tried to be nice about it. I'm like, would you just spill it? He goes, do you think you've done too many projects? I'm like, well, they all mush in together. And he's like, yeah, but they mush. They do, they mush. You're right. They do. Yeah. So
Yeah,
I think
agree.
you're mush.
Well, it's something that I struggle with too, because I'm sure it's this way in other things besides just real estate. Everything needs to be done. Everything's important, and you're only one person. So it's like, how do you juggle all of them and prioritize one over the other when they all need attention? I know you can, but.
So that's what I said. And you know what he told me? He said, what makes you money? He goes, what produces dollars, girl? And I'm like, he goes, because you love doing this over here and pondering that over there. And he goes, does that make you money? And I was like, nope, it doesn't. And he goes, well, then doesn't that help you prioritize stuff? Yes, it does. He goes, because if you tell me that you love doing this over here, I'm like, that's awesome. But when the mortgage company comes knocking at your door at the first, what the hell are you going to do? And he's right. He goes, this is what I tell my agents. I tell my agents, if you're not doing 4 hours lead gen a day, you think you're some hotshot. He's like, you tell the mortgage company that because they don't give a shit. And I was like, you're right. They don't. They don't. I'm like, you're dead on right. So I hear you and I understand and I feel that way too on some things. And then I was like, but what produces you money? That produces you money. Go do that. Then that's what you need to prioritize. So, Anna, you said you only tracked 2 things. I like that. I only really tracked 3. And really what I tracked mostly in my business was how many listings I took. Just that was my goal, was 4 appointments a week and at least 10 listings taken a month. And because I knew if I did that, I would do what Dutch is doing on the back end and watching my days on market and making sure that they were sellable and not taking overpriced listings. And I knew they would sell. And so then the goal was to sell 8 of those and the buyer's agents another 8. And on that end, it was just feed them enough off my sign calls, which meant go get the listings because that's what fed them. And that was the one metric that fed the entire machine down. But it was simple. The simple.
Mhm. What I realized with Bree with our accountability calls is when we have a bunch of things to track that mark our progress, it gets extremely overwhelming. And I'm just like, okay, the simpler it is, the better it is, the more straightforward it becomes. So that's why I'm like, okay, did I get the appointments? Did I not? It makes me feel worse, but it encourages me to just keep going. Because you don't have those smaller milestones to make you feel like, okay, I'm at least doing the work. For me, that doesn't cut it anymore. I have to not just try, but I have to get it. At this point, it's like do or die for me. But yeah, I feel like the less you have, the simpler it is to track. Did you get it? No? Okay, keep going. Keep doing what you have to do.
Yeah.
Yep.
I also believe in the book is the traction is the same thing. They're like, keep boiling it down, keep boiling it down, keep boiling it down. It needs to be something that Kay Peck is quoting me some Yoda, to keep boiling it down to a very, very simple set of metrics. In Hoodle, we have a dollar amount and we have a how many people committed. And those are the 2 numbers. So we also track how many people showed up in the meeting. But that's more, we've been tracking the 2 numbers we track is how many people signed up and what dollar amount we're bringing in the month, because that's it. Those are our 2 goals. There's a third thing we are looking at, and that is how many people started in on the webinar, and then at what point do they drop off, because that tells us, like when I first started tracking it before I was doing the webinar, they dropped off at the hour mark. That tells me I have to get done in that hour. They drop off here. Okay, that tells me that that's a weak spot in the webinar. So what do I got to do to tighten up? That's that 15 minutes into a weak spot. What do I got to do to tighten? But that's more honing my systems. The 2 numbers we track, how many people signed up and how much money is that? That's it. And then that taught us to adjust our money. And then it also taught us to adjust how many people are in that room. So, because that's a direct correlation to how many will sign up or how many in that room, but it's 2, it's just 2, that's it. It's 2 simple metrics. So I like that. I like keeping it really simple. And then it's just, did I hit it? Did I not hit it? Okay, what were my big rocks? Where's my issue? What I need to fix? What's not working at 1,000% right now, or even 80%? You know what I mean? I'm okay with things working at 80% as long as everything's firing 80%, but there's something that's not. And then that's the thing that I get working on. And it's a moving target. It's not like, oh, look, I hit it and now I'm gonna, never worry about anything again. That target's gonna keep on growing and moving as I keep growing and moving.
So that also pulls into your line of what's acceptable and not acceptable. If you're acceptable at 80%, then, everything's interwoven.
It really is. It really is. And it all does like this kind of thing. And it felt like in my business, I've said this a bunch of times, but it really is true. It felt like, okay, here's my business. This is what it looks like. And it was very clearly defined. And then it was a circling around for where's the thing that's not popping? That thing's not working. That's a weak spot. There's water coming out of the bucket right there. I need to stop the water coming out of the bucket. How do I do that? And what does that look like? And then if there wasn't water coming out of a bucket, it was like, all right, well, how do I take this to the next level? And what does that look like? Like what business, what partnership, what is it that I think will take me to the next level? Because the system was running really, really smooth. And once it's smooth, it's time to start pushing up again. And it's grow, turn around, fix the holes in the bucket, smooth, grow, turn around, fix the holes in the bucket, and it just keeps on doing that thing. So, oh, thank you so much for messaging, Amanda. Perfect.
No problem.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you for doing that. I appreciate that. All right. Any other thoughts or anything around this? Or anything that you're like, yeah, I think I'm going to throw that one in my business, or this is my action plan that I'm going to deal with or I want to tweak this little tiny thing.
I just keep getting back to consistency and do it, consistency and do it, consistency and do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
The biggest problem I seem to have is like, I do okay on the lead gen. And then it's like I get a deal and I get all into working the deal and trying to get the deal closed. And then I don't do the lead gen and I don't have a good balance.
So, Kay, I hate to tell you this, but you're normal.
Oh, crap.
Here's what you have to get the mindset in. And Anna probably had to figure, Anna, you probably had to run across this and probably had to work through it at some point, maybe. I don't know if Anna can talk right now with the little.
Yeah, no, for sure, for sure.
Right. So what did you do to get around it, through it, over it, under it?
Kay, can you phrase your question again, or can you phrase your concern again? I just want to make sure I address it properly.
Yeah, I do okay with lead gen and then I get a deal. And then I'm so focused on working the deal that I don't do the lead gen.
Yeah, I know. I can't say I'm over that hump or that I have gotten a solution to that, because that's exactly how I am. I feel like my mental capacity to handle a lot of things at the same time could be limited, and I don't want to disappoint my current clients. But I think one way that I have been able to work on that is by using that structured app that I was telling you about, by just being like, okay, from this time to this time, or at least by this much time to this much time, I'm going to allocate to my current transactions. From that time to this time, or for an hour or two a day, I absolutely have to do some kind of lead gen activity, because the minute the prospecting dies, I cut off all my supplies to money for the next month. I could have a transaction, but what happens after this is closed? So it's just, I think at the end of the day, it comes down to, and I'm still working on it. I'm definitely nowhere close to being able to say that, okay, I've accomplished this. I've overcome this problem that I have. But for me, the biggest way that I have been able to work on it, at least, was time blocking. And once you do that, you'll realize, okay, I absolutely have to. And for me, one of the ways that I've been falling short is the videos. Like, I look at the videos as my way out of paying for these crazy expensive leads. And if I just commit the time every week, so I've blocked off my Wednesday afternoons for videos only. The last couple of weeks I got derailed, but that's my intention. Like, come hell or high water, I'm doing my videos every Wednesday afternoon. So it's just basically making that commitment to yourself and trying to stick to it, right? Just time blocking.
So I'm going to completely agree with all of that. And I'm going to add in this bit. It was very hard for me to take care of tomorrow's business instead of the immediate business. It was one of the hardest mind shifts I ever did. And what I realized after I did it, so in my personal life, it's like I have to submit to the process and then I learn the lesson on the other side. Because I certainly don't go into it with, even if people are telling me I'm not hearing it, this is the lesson you're going to learn. Here's what it is. I have to submit to the lesson, do it, and then go, oh, so I'm a little slow on the uptake over here. What I learned by time blocking the lead gen first and then taking care of my clients from noon on. So my clients got noon on, like it was all there. So they got, and if it took till late at night, it took till late at night. They got plenty of time, right? But they weren't first. And the thing that helped me with it after I finally did it was two things. One, half of the clients that I would call at 12:01 or whatever, as soon as because I'd be like, oh, this person's got, a hot water tank that's doing God knows whatever, and I would call them. They're like, oh, I got to figure it out. It's cool, Gina. Thanks so much for reaching out to me. I was like, huh. So that happened half the time. And it encouraged them to solve their own problems. And I still look like a good person because I'm still checking in with you to go, what can I do to help? And I'm willing to do what I have to do at noon, 12:01. So that was the first thing. And the second thing is, the more I lead gen, the more clients I have, the more signs I have, the more leads I get off of my signs, the more I feed my buyer's agents, the more I have buyers that might be buying my listings, the more I dominate the neighbors and the neighborhoods, the more business I get again. And that business means that I have deals that I can cross deal with and do both sides of. And if I'm doing both sides of the deal, which by the way, it was my buyer's agent, but it doesn't matter, it's still me, doing both sides of that deal, I know that deal is going to go smooth. Like, I know it will go smooth if I'm like, and I would joke with people. I'm like, well, if it's me on the other side, like, I know it's going to close, because it's me. But that machine requires me, which helps them in the long run, massively helps them in the long run. Also, the more deals that I have, the more signs I have, the more other agents know what I'm like to work with. They know I'm really good to work with. They're happy to put offers in on my deals because they know I'm not some gargantuan pain in the butt real estate agent, blah, 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 blah. So long-term, it helps them immensely, but it doesn't help them in their emergency right now. But that's okay because they're adults. And I don't need to rescue them from their emergency necessarily. My job is to fly the plane, not take care of the kid who spilled coffee in his lap, and that's the thing. He spilled coffee in his lap. I get it. Right. But my job is to fly the plane. And if I get up and leave the plane alone, chances are that plane's going to be a lot worse and we're going to be spilling worse things than coffee.
And a lot more coffee spilled.
It was a hard mind shift though. It really, really was. And then the other thing is that helps me on this side of it too, is my true priorities are God, my husband, my family, my business, my coworkers, you guys. Those are my true priorities. And if I'm helping somebody with some sort of emergency that's not really an emergency, that, title and escrow and everything else isn't even open at this point anyway, blah, 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 or whatever it is, then I don't have my priorities straight. And I'm doing it because I feel good rescuing people, which, by the way, I do. Feels great. It's awesome. It doesn't help anybody. It doesn't help me, doesn't help them, doesn't help anybody else. Way better for them to have some skills and some patience, and for me to learn to grow as well. Way better. So there you go. There's a long thing I learned on the other side of it, but I had to just do it and trust.
I have trouble letting go with it. I mean, letting go. I, trying to delegate things because history has shown me that it doesn't work very well. So I have issues with that, and I know I do.
Yep. I think that all high functioning people that have an issue, and I could be very much wrong on this one, and I would fully I'm wrong. I get it. I think very high functioning people do have a hard time doing it. And then there's trust issues, especially if you've released stuff in the past and that it hasn't gone well. I can release to competence. I cannot release to incompetence. Like I just can't do it. You know what I mean? And then that's my fault if I've released too much too soon to somebody not tested and not, who hasn't proven that they're competent yet. I have to release a quick. There was a great diagram Keller Williams used to teach about releasing information. Hang on one second. It goes like this. It goes like this. So in the beginning, this is everything you do. This is everything the assistant does. Over a 90-day window, this is everything the assistant does, and this is everything you do. But you release it slowly, 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 slowly as they're proving out, as they get more and more and more and more and more competent and have proven over time. And then there's check-ins along that at 30 days, 60 days, 90 days with, you can't just dump. That one's helped me out too. So, Kay, what do you want to do in your business? What's your action plan after all this? Is anything like, all right, this is where I am?
Focus on lead gen every day, no matter what.
Yeah, just do it. Just buckle down and do it. And Kay, have faith. Because it's gonna be okay, I promise you. But just take that step off the cliff. You know what it is? Remember the couple days ago when I'm like the entrepreneur fell 1,000 feet and grabbed a rope and it was like, hey, can you help me? Yeah, let go. Let go. It'll be okay. I promise there's a land bridge there. I promise you there really, really is. And you're too smart and too good and you're too good for people out there to not be able to help more people. You're way too good for that. And more people need your help. And the only way you can do it is just by pushing that off. It's just 2 hours. It's just 2 hours. If their house is on fire, they probably should call 911 first. Because unless you're handy with a hose, and I'm not, they'll be okay. And you're not that person to go take care of that anyway. And any emergency can be handled in 2 hours, unless it's a 911, and then it's a 911. And then tell your clients also that I return, like if you ever need me, by all means, call me anytime you want to. I return phone calls from 11 through the rest of the day. Like you are my undivided attention. And then they know that, or I would just tell my clients, like, I return every single phone call. It might end up being late in the day. If you call me on Sunday, I don't answer those phone calls, but the rest of the time I return, and then I always return my phone calls. You have to uphold your word. But nobody said, I don't go to a doctor and they're not, I'm going to call you at 7:30, no matter what. If you call me at 7:30, they're not. They're going to call you since they have a break. And it's okay. And you're not like, dang it, didn't call me at 7:30. Because if you really had an emergency, your butt would be in the ER. It wouldn't be hanging on for your doctor to call you back at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, which is when they can get to you. You're the same level. All right. So for me, I'm going to define my one number. And whatever that number is, I'm going to define that number. And then that's what I'm going to build into mine, because that is where I haven't had clarity around it. And I need to have clarity around it. And then do my countdown. Have you hit it? Have you hit it? Have you hit it? Have you hit it? I think that's what I need to build in mine. Okay. Anybody else have anything before we go? All right. I am going to, I'm going to let go of the vine. I know, but I'm going to let go of the vine. It's going to be good. All right. All right. I'm going to get this to Craig too. And Craig, you're going to let go of the damn vine. We love you. We'll see you. All right, you guys. I hope you have amazing weekends. I'm super looking forward to mine. I'm going to share this last little thing and then I'll let you go. My granddaughter is turning 6. Actually, tomorrow. So we're celebrating on her birthday. That's super cool. I'm going up there tomorrow to get her and bring her down here. She's going to spend the night with us. But I've got this online. So this sort of goes her little candle on her little cake. And then we got to go wrap a pile of presents. But
How fun.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I really, really am. So
We'll say a prayer that I get my deal closed today, because I've spent all week on a deal, and the man, one of the owners that was selling,
coma guy,
came back from a vacation and had a stroke and is on life support and not likely to make it. And we're waiting for the funder to fund it. And as soon as we get everything signed, then they're going to pull the plug. And I've been dealing with that every day. It's been hell.
I am so sorry. That is such a hard deal. It really is. And the poor family also, that is, okay. This goes back to why you would lead generate, because you have such a big heart and so many people to help. And there are people out there that need you. They just need you. And they could have some crappy person who's nagging them to death, like some agents are, like, I need to get paid. And they're out there. They truly are. And they don't. They have you instead. And what a blessing all the way around. So you have a moral obligation to do what you're going to do. And Gina Hansen does too. So, yep. All right, darling. Well, let's go let go of some vines today.
Keep in your prayers today. It's a
Oh.
big day.
I will. Okay, you guys, I hope you have amazing weekends. I will see you Monday night and look forward to some good stuff.
Bye.
Bye.